Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is a placeholder for my Blood Level 4 New Game +6 all bosses. So what you're watching right now, guys, is me fighting the Cleric Beast on a new game, Blood Level 4, and I'm using a completely unupgraded weapon. And I'm doing this because I'm an idiot. I got annoyed having to go back to Hunter's Dream and repair my weapon and replace my buffs and things because I was fighting this guy for about an hour to try and do this without rolling, and I forgot to re-record when I killed him, and I had a pretty interesting fight with this dude. And what I'm going to do is, once I've beaten the game and done the project, I'm going to go back and record the Cleric Beast again, and then this video will be unlisted and you'll see the other one, where it'll have a bit more of an analysis and a bit more of a different fight, because he's way different on that version. But this is the closest I could get to it in this amount of time, because every time I hit this dude I do about 40 damage, and I think his life is maybe about 2,000, 3,000 HP, something like that, so I have to hit it a lot. And the good thing about this is you don't get the stuns that you would normally get, so you can't prioritise on maximising breaking limbs and doing, you know, chain staggers and damage and things. So what you're going to see me do is you're going to see me, whenever the Cleric Beast does that sweeping horizontal single attack, if you push forward after it, you can bait him into doing a second hit that has way more recovery on it. But once again, the problem with a lot of the bosses in this game, and this one is no different, is there are a lot of attacks, like this is the one where he does 3 hits. You'll have to be careful of that because it's slightly different. There's his grab, and you'll also notice Lawrence does the same thing. But as with a lot of bosses, when you try to run around their attacks, you're going to discover that some of them aren't as honest on the screen as they look, and the hitboxes for them are really difficult to manipulate. Some of them are great because they enable you to do things that look like you should take damage, but other ones simply don't. And the big problem with this guy is his feet. So that move right there, when he does that stepping forward swipe, you can actually run around it and do kind of like a question mark pattern to get around his left ankle. But then once you're behind him, he has 2 scripted responses to being behind him, which are these side swipes, and they have incredible range. So you have to really pick your opportunities, because if you get stuck close to this boss, you cannot get away in time, which is the reason why you see me taking 1 or 2 shots here or there and then getting out of dodge, because that swipe just then has so much range, it's very difficult to get away from. This move right here, as he does the second slash, if you run towards his right leg, you can get behind him and hit him once, and then you can safely move away. If you hit him any more times than once, depending on what he does will depend on how dangerous you are in that moment. So here is his triple slamming move. You can actually walk around this and get him to pivot, but doing it on this bridge is very difficult. With a jump attack, never ever run towards the jump attack if you can afford it, because it will always track perfectly. It has some interesting properties. Always try and run away from it and understand the kind of distance that it has. Here's his triple slamming threat. This is one of the biggest damage openings, but be careful because once again he can spin around and thwit you with his arm. There he goes healing, and he does it again when I'm out of range, which is really strange. So I'm going to swoop in, attack the ankle, get out of there before we get too greedy, because if he does any of those backwards hits, and here's the combo. So because he's out of alignment, I can't dodge it the same way, and it puts me in a kind of bad spot, but I get around it, and then he backs up, and then he does the big hand slam, which there's actually 3 versions of that hand slam, slightly different ones. There he goes twitting again as he jumps up in the air. Here he comes, hit that face, there's the stun, charge the R2 into the visceral. And you might be wondering, Chris, why are you visceral in a Blood Level 4? Well, when I'm using an unupgraded weapon, visceral attacks are actually quite good damage, and it's safe damage as well, which is really important. So he goes for the grab, I punish it with a charge R2, here comes another hand slam. You can run behind him when he does this and attack his legs, but that was the end of the fight. So there's my attack if you were wondering. I had 92 attack, Blood Level 4, there goes Cleric Beast. Thank you for watching, you take care now.